Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Was Raised by His Father, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Even though Leaf never got snow, people still celebrated Christmas. Arashi hadn't shown Naruto his other technique. All they had really been was perfecting his body flicker. In a way which you didn't need to use hand movements. Naruto had now spent about a few months at it, and was getting quite better. He could make it halfway across town using body flicker, with the hand movements. And about a quarter way across without it. Arashi was quite impressed with the blonde boy. Arashi and Naruto had been sitting down to the local ramen stand. There were various Christmas decorations placed around. Naruto was very fidgety looking at the clock that was hanging up. Arashi noticed this and looked at Naruto, then finally had to give up and ask what was the matter. Naruto, what's gotten into you today? Discover more. World-building guidebooks. Terms of service. Digital comic subscriptions. Gaming peripherals. Bookshelves. Story editing services. Anime merchandise. Beta reading services. Fan fiction books. Crossover story guides. Hinata is coming back, smiled Naruto. Well, I guess that is something to celebrate. How long has it been now? About 2 months. Yeah, I overheard the 5th that she was coming home any minute, smiled Naruto. He looked towards the gates a few more times hoping to see her. I take it you want the day off from training? Asked Arashi. I have to ask. As your new sensei, I would hope so. You're my new. Naruto's face filled with joy. Ha ha, Naruto, how does it feel to have the student of the old pervert, and the teacher of your sensei teaching you? Smiled Arashi. I wouldn't call it all that good, said an elderly woman, as she walked over to the two. What do you mean, old lady? Asked Naruto as he looked at the elderly woman to Arashi, whose face was quite pale. Well, did you know, Naruto, that only one of the 3 students he had is still alive, said the woman. That's enough, said Arashi. I really don't think it is, Yondaime, said the woman. What do you mean? Asked Naruto. Have you ever wondered why Kakashi spends so much time at that stone? The stone? You mean the one with the names? Yes. He spends so much time there because one of his friends and Uchiha at that SD on a mission. That Arashi was. Arashi was silent. Quote, ? And his other student Rin, SD in the Battle of the Nine Tails, it's all your so-called perfect Hokage's fault, that every one Kakashi held close is now SD. When Rin, Obito, and Arashi SD, he was all alone, smiled the woman. Well, I know you're still mad about your granddaughter's death, but it wasn't his fault, Obito SD, it was mine, I was in charge of that mission. Or that Rin SD either. Obito SD protecting her and I. And in a way he is still with me, Rin on the other had SD protecting people, that was how she said she would even when we were young, so don't be so hard on her. Or Arashi, it's not his fault. He SD protecting people, the village even you. Be grateful. And I have made new special people, I am not just alone, said Kakashi as he looked lamely at them. Discover more. Online writing workshops. Community forum software. Anime merchandise. Custom fanfiction covers. Story writing tools. Cookie policy templates. Writing prompts generator. Beta reading services. TV show merchandise. Twitter marketing services. Quote, ? I didn't know you were there, muttered the old woman as she staggered away. Discover more. Publishing services. Fan fiction contests. Fanfiction writing contests. Crossover story guides. Digital comic subscriptions. TV show guides. Author promotion services. Writing software. Story writing tools. Fanfiction merchandise. I still want you to be my sensei, smiled Naruto. Arashi looked at Naruto, gave a small smile, then slowly got up, put the money on the table and just left. Is he going to be okay? Asked Naruto. Yes, eventually, so what have you learned? Asked Kakashi as the two walked down the road. Well, I learned body flicker, smiled Naruto. Really? Can you tell me about the time Arashi used it? When you were all together? Asked Naruto. There's one time, but, well, we had been walking. And he, I guess, saw, or heard, or sensed another person, just as he was to put down his bag. It was millimeters from the ground, he had a kunai to the man's tea before the bag dropped. Said Kakashi, showing Naruto really how much space between the ground and the bag. Wow, I want to become that fast. Smiled Naruto. It will take some time, smiled Kakashi. Yeah, so who were Obito and Rin? Obito was a friend, I guess in the end we realized we were best friends. I was like you and Sasuke, just a bit worse. He gave me this eye, as the ladies said he was an Uchiha, and Rin was much like Sakura, a medical ninja, said Kakashi. So we're all just like them. Sakura and Rin, Obito and I, then you and Sasuke. Exactly. That's creepy, said Naruto. Which made Kakashi look at him and smile. So, you're probably the only ninja I have ever met with 3 teachers, said Kakashi. Which made Naruto smile. Sakura has 2, laughed Naruto. The 3rd as well. Really? Yes, the 1st and the 2nd taught him, said Kakashi. Wow. Naruto. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei. Hinata is probably just coming at the gates now. Yeah, I almost forgot. Bye Kakashi. Smiled Naruto as he ran off. Young love, you know it's never going to last, said Arashi as he stood next to Kakashi. Why do you say that? Hinata didn't look herself. She seemed more nervous than normal. And I know it just because you never stay in love with your first, said Arashi as he gave a sigh as he watched Naruto use body flicker. But what about you? I was greedy. You know as well as I do, you weren't greedy. Wasn't I? No, you're just like any man, wanted power and love. Yeah, but in the end, I never really got either. I give up. That's not like you. Well, you being all depressed isn't either. And I believe Hinata and Naruto may go far, if that Kiba kid doesn't interfere, said Kakashi. Kiba, the one with the huge white dog, in Hinata's 4-man team. Ah, well, does he like her? Yes, and Neji liked Kiba a whole lot better than Naruto. Well I guess we will find out tomorrow, and why do you read those things? Asked Arashi as he took the book away from his former student. Discover more. Writing workshops online. Privacy policy templates. Character art commissions. Online writing workshops. Crossover story guides. Cookie policy templates. Fan fiction contests. Gaming specials. Fanfiction writing contests. Book club subscriptions. I got one for my birthday one year, from the old pervert, said Kakashi. I see, these things are dumb, why waste your time on them? Weren't you the one telling him to publish it? That was years ago, when I was 12, said Arashi. Let's go for a walk. Just a walk. No, we're going to overrun Konoha and K everybody. Yes, we're going for a walk. Naruto had just appeared behind a tree, his eyes were closed. He would finally see Hinata after a few months. He heard her footsteps come closer, and closer and closer, until Naruto popped up behind and gave them a huge hug. And with that he was on the ground in a matter of moments, his chest hurt from the attack her and Neji used. A foot was then on his chest. As he looked up, and opened his eyes, there was Neji with a horrified look across his face. He looked at Naruto for a long time till he was about to pull out a kunai. On the other hand, it would end his embarrassment. Because right alongside of Neji was Ten laughing herself silly. What is your problem? Sorry, thought you were Hinata, smiled Naruto as he suddenly just disappeared, in an orange blur. He hugged you, laughed Ten over and over, until Neji gave her a dirty look and she stopped and they walked along further. But she still held giggles. Naruto then actually found her sitting in a tree near her home pulling leaves off a flower and saying stuff over and over, but Naruto wasn't able to hear. He slowly went up behind her and rode his arms around her and smiled. She being her stiffened and just loosened up, and gave a weak smile. She just pulled off the last pedal and looked at it for a moment. And then to him and smiled even more. Hey, I've been waiting for you to come back. I learned a really cool new move, smiled Naruto. Really? Said Hinata. Yeah, it's so cool. Arashi says it may help my dream to become Hokage, smiled Naruto. I saw Gara last week, when we went through sooner, said Hinata all of a sudden. Really? How is he? Same, still non-talkative, but there was a girl with him following him around. I think she was one of our Anbu members because she had on a mask, but looked tired. She was wearing layers of clothes, I felt bad. Onome, she was there. I wonder why, she helped me with my new move. Said Naruto. Really? And Anbu helped you? Yeah, her and Gaara, well Yondaime first helped me, then he told me he sent her to help. And Gaara too, he was really odd that day. He spoke more, it was creepy, smiled Naruto. Naruto, will you meet me at the barbecue place where Shikamaru and his team always used to go, tonight around 7-ish? Asked Hinata. Okay, but what's wrong? Asked Naruto as they jumped down from the tree and he looked at her. Nothing, just want to go there, she said with a smile. Okay, smiled Naruto as he gave her a quick peck on the lips before saying. Want to see my new cool move? Okay, smiled Hinata as she looked at him. Now pay real close attention. I am only going to do this once, smiled Naruto. Hinata nodded and watched carefully as Naruto used hand movements as quickly as he could. It was hard to watch them. All 5 hard signs looked like he moved his hands once, and he was gone and already down the street. Wow, muttered Hinata as she noticed Naruto down the road already, and waving to her. She smiled and waved back. I bet you $39, smiled the old pervert. 39, said the two as they looked at him. That's all I got on me at the moment. I bet 50 he will tell her he loves her and they will get married, smiled Kakashi. I bet 100 she breaks his heart, said Arashi. I bet 200 he does it first, said the 5th. All bets in, smiled Arashi as they put their money in a bowl. And watched as Naruto walked away from Hinata's. This is sad, we're playing with the lives of 2 young people, said Kakashi. We did the same to you and Rin, said the 5th, which caused Kakashi to go wide-eyed. And Sakura and Sasuke, said the old perv. This is really sad, said Shikamaru as he appeared next to them, causing the adults to look around wide-eyed at the teen. I bet 10 that this will all turn out horrible, not just for Naruto but you guys as well, said Shikamaru as he placed his money into the hat. What would you know? More than you, he smiled as he walked off. Where the hell did he come from? Asked Arashi as he watched him leave. Shadows, said the pervert. That was really lame, even for you, said Arashi. Naruto sat on his bed, which was at the 4th's house. He had been sitting there looking out the closed window for what seemed like forever. There on the nightstand lay a small ocarina, which bore a huge crack going through it. He had managed to retrieve it from his home, he had tried to play it a few times, he managed to get somewhat of a tune out of it, but not as good as Menma. Even though it had been quite a long time, Naruto still thought about that boy. Naruto did miss him quite a lot. He still smiled about the day they became friends, and the day they were to never see each other again. And the memory of him sitting down with a bowl of ramen and the ocarina. He had been sitting there since he awoke. It was only a few hours away from Christmas Day, it was the 24th, and it currently was 12:29 p.m. He hadn't done much, but beat the crap out of the Hokages, and the perv, while Kakashi was nowhere to be found, oddly. He hadn't really seen the light of day for a week or so, since he spoke with Hinata. Flashback. Naruto had arrived to the place Hinata told him about. He looked around till he noticed her sitting there by herself, looking out the window. When he came, she didn't look at him right away, and didn't smile or blush either. Naruto found this odd. As he sat down she looked at him, and said nothing. The food came, and Naruto finally had to ask. Oi, Hinata, why did you ask me to meet you here? Huh. Oh, Naruto, you wish to become Hokage still, right? Asked Hinata. Huh. Yeah. Why? Well, maybe we should take a break. A break? What do you mean? Quote, comma, comma, dot, dot. I mean from our relationship. Huh. Quote, comma, dot. Naruto, it's just that I don't want to. Believe me, there's no one else, but. But what? Said Naruto, a little OCC and looking at her sternly. You know Akatsuki is after you, right? Well. Quote, comma, dot, quote. The thing is, Naruto, is that I like you very much, but I don't want to be in the way of you becoming Hokage. How would you? Quote, comma, dot. Naruto, if Akatsuki found out we were together, what would happen if they got a hold of me to get to you? They wouldn't, I wouldn't let them, said Naruto, smiling at her. Discover more. Website hosting services. Online writing workshops. Literary analysis tools. Gaming peripherals. Custom fanfiction covers. Mobile app access. Fanfiction writing contests. Story writing tools. Bookshelves. Movie streaming services. Naruto, you cannot always protect me. What if I were on a mission, and you went to get me? And they captured you, and took the demon from within you. Hinata, I wouldn't. You don't know that, Naruto, please, you would not be as lucky as the Kazekage. No offense, but the only people that know the jutsu are the fifth and the old lady that saved Gaara, and even then, she wouldn't be able to save you. All I am saying is, just hold it off for now, maybe one day we can be together, said Hinata, looking downward. In other words, you're dumping me cold, hard and flat. Hinata, now is the future, and if you want to end it now, there is no guarantee for the future, said Naruto. You mean, yes, if you wish to end this, then there may or never will be an us again, said Naruto, so do you. Hinata. Yes. I see, then goodbye, said Naruto as he stood up from the table, leaving a teary-eyed girl sitting there, and he just walked out. He had been walking for a while the night, when Shikamaru came by and looked at him for a few moments, then asked. You're single? Yeah. She dump you, or you dump her? Why? Does it really matter? Not to me, but I am sure some others might want to know, said Shikamaru as he placed his hands behind his head and looked at the sky. What do you mean? Well, go to Kakashi's, and you will find out. You're too troublesome, they're placing bets on you, to see how your relationship would turn out. There's Kakashi, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Arashi, said Shikamaru, leaving his name out. What? Quote. Naruto was off to go kick some ass by then. When he got there, Arashi, Tsunade and Jiraiya were placing more money in the hat, while Kakashi was nowhere to be found. Naruto then had yelled, screamed, hit, punched, and in the end, his frustration was gone, and people were hurt, and Shikamaru was $500 richer. End flashback. Naruto just sat there. Arashi had brought him food, but he never took it. Sakura came by to make sure he would eat, and had brought news that Sasuke was in sound again. She heard it from the perv. And they were going to leave around sometime in January when they were supposed to be there. Naruto hadn't moved, he stayed still, depressed or in a state of shock. Arashi finally had to come and see the boy. He walked into Naruto's room to find everything the same, as it had been 5 days ago. Naruto just sat there, in a vegetative state. The blonde Hokage sat down on his bed, and sat cross-legged just like the boy, and were quiet for about an hour till the Hokage spoke. Naruto, there will be other women. I know, he speaks. Quote. Or not, don't sit here and pout, it's not good for you. What if I told you more about your mom? How does that sound? You told me everything about her already. Oh, well, just come out. You're starting to stink up the house, go take a shower, and I will tell you something about your father. No, that's all right, really, yes. You're sure you don't want to know anything at all? No matter what, nothing. That's what I said. Quote. Hokage. Yes, Naruto. Why did you want to become Hokage? Why, yeah. I guess, well, to be the best, change the village for the good. But I didn't have much time to do so. I guess, they say you were the best one, right? Yes, that's correct. That means I have to learn that jutsu in order to surpass you, right? Naruto, first you need to control the fox's power, or God only knows what could happen. The first time you tried you almost killed Jiraiya, and the second time, your friend. Quote. Naruto, let's work on that first, okay? Then I will let you learn the other one. Quote. You feel different, don't you? That Gaara became Hokage so fast, while you didn't. Yes, well, you need to understand, everyone is different, some people can easily do things, while others can't. I saved him twice. I thought once. No, the first time was at the Chunin exams, and I defeated him, when no one else really could. How is that? I changed the way he thought about life, the way he felt. The second time was the time I got him from that group, and everyone came to get him. You should have seen him. It was the same way I felt when someone reached out to me, and I reached out to him, and I think that was the happiest day of his life. And I would believe that. Hokage. Yes. Did you want to I would be lying if I said yes. But the truth is, I wanted to see everyone, wanted to be with everyone. And even though I do not regret a single thing I did. You don't. No, the so what doesn't chaos makes us stronger, but the people that were to write that, we're diluted, because that just makes us weaker, than what we really are. Really? Yes, that's what I believe anyways. When it made the village grow, and become more stronger than ever, because the thought and story of one mate saving a whole village is in the hearts of them all. And if I hadn't then people wouldn't have tried as hard to become stronger. I guess. What's with the ocarina? Menma gave it to me. Oh, said Arashi. He had just recently heard about that boy, the one who also saved a village, in the hopes to restore what he had taken away. People are not born evil. What? People are not born evil, they become evil, with the hatred and loathing, and what other else they grew up with like Gaara and Sasuke, and his brother. They were once all good people, but just went bad along the way. Yes, but bad people can become good. I know, but I wonder if Sasuke will ever. Naruto, you're lucky. I am. Yes, you're lucky you never turned out like Gaara. I know. Do you know why I told the village to keep what was inside of you secret? Not really. It was, to save you. I thought they would treat you like a hero, but I now know I was wrong. But if I had told them to let you know from the beginning, then you would have known why they hated you, then you would have hated them more, and grew cold and shallow like Gaara, and become empty. And without you around, Gaara could have taken over the leaf, and the world would be a mess. You are the balance to what is good, and what is evil. Thanks, smiled Naruto. Now, take a shower, a long one, come and eat. And then, I'll tell you about a cool new move, smiled Arashi. Okay, smiled Naruto as he sat up quick and went to the bathroom down the hall. And Arashi slowly stood up and walked down the hall, unlocked a door and walked in. This room was full of books and whatnot. He pulled out a certain handwritten book, and flipped through it. He smiled to himself as he put it in his pocket and left. As he was opening the door, he turned around for a moment and noticed a small picture on the floor. He slowly picked it up and looked at it. It was old. It had been a picture of him and Aomi. He smiled slightly. It was taken when they were 12. And she was laughing at him. He looked so much like Naruto with a pout. Then behind it another fell. It was a single picture of her, and the child. Smiling. Arashi's smile grew as he looked at it. He had gotten Naruto a present already, but this one would make it a little better. She had been holding the small blonde boy. He remembered he told Naruto that was the last picture taken of her before, but he forgot this one. It had been taken only minutes before Arashi had taken the child. Her long hair was in a mess, she had no makeup on, but to his point of view, it was the prettiest she ever looked. He slowly placed it in his pocket next to the book and finally left the room. When he had actually left, he noticed Naruto walking to his room with a towel around his waist. His hair was down, still quite spiky, but no head protector. Arashi looked at the boy, and then said, "You know, Naruto, if you dressed like that, more girls would look at you more. In a towel. Well, I mean wear you head protector not around your head, but around your end, and just your netted shirt and a pair of black pants and a back shirt. No orange. Try it for one day. Do I have to?" "Yes." "Fine. Good. Then since we need food for tomorrow, you can come with me to market. Quote. I'll buy ramen. You pay." "Yes, Naruto." Yeah, smiled Naruto as he ran into the room. "Naruto, it's been 10 minutes. I look like I am going to a funeral." "Come on, wow, doesn't that look better?" smiled Arashi. "I feel stupid. Wow, I thought the orange did that. If no girls take any notice to me, I get to wear your white coat thing," smiled Naruto as he looked at the Hokage who was wearing his normal outfit. "Alright, deal. For how long?" "Week. 1 day." "Week. Day. Fine. Come on let's go," smiled Arashi as him and Naruto left. They had been walking through the streets to the small marketplace where they normally sell foods and other goods. Naruto had gone off somewhere, seeing one of his friends leaving the Hokage alone. He had picked up most of his things, and whatever else. Then he noticed Sakura walking by. It looked like she had been shopping for her mother by the food. He slowly made his way over to her and smiled. She noticed this and stopped to wait for the Hokage. As they walked, she was the first to speak. How is Naruto? Fine, he's doing better. Well, go see, he's over there talking to Jiraiya, said Arashi. Mumbled Sakura as she turned her gaze towards the old man and the blonde boy. Her mouth almost fell open. There was Naruto standing there smiling and laughing. And she had to admit this new look suited him quite well. She was amazed. She had tried to get Naruto to wear different colors, but he never would. She looked at the Hokage who was smiling and wondered how this boy could have changed so fast in a short amount of time. As she looked at the Hokage, she actually realized they looked a lot the same. It was weird, she thought, a little too weird. She then grabbed the Hokage's hand and he looked at her confused, then she said, "Tell me, who is Naruto's father?" "What? Sakura, why would you want to know that?" smiled Arashi. "Just tell me." asked Naruto. "Wait, Sakura, why? Are you his father?" said Sakura bluntly and looked at him. His eyes were wide and he started to cough and look at her with a strange face. "Sorry, wasn't my place, I guess not," said Sakura as she gave a low sigh and walked over to Naruto. "Weird, what an odd thing to suddenly ask," said Arashi as he followed and walked over to the three. "Oi, Sakura, what are you doing out here? I thought you told me last week you did all your shopping." "Idiot, this is food for my mom." "Oh, I like your new look. It makes you look a bit older." "Oh, it does. That's what Ero-sanin was just saying. I told you, Naruto, that people would notice. Does this mean I don't get to wear your coat out if cape thing?" "Here," said Arashi as he pulled it off and placed it on the boy's shoulders. "Gosh," said Sakura, all of a sudden her eyes were wide. Along with the older man's. As the two looked at the two blondes, their mouths were open. "What? Is something on me?" asked a freaked out Naruto as he spun around a few times. "No, it's just that," but before she could finish, Jiraiya had his hand over her mouth and said, "Well, look at the time, we must be off already." "Bye, Sakura. Bye, Ero-sanin," smiled Naruto as he walked along with the Hokage and headed towards the ramen stand. "What's the matter?" asked Sakura as they turned a corner. "Sakura, please, don't mention that he looks like the Arashi." "How come? Just don't, promise." Sakura. "Yes, but I don't see the problem. Naruto likes that sort of compliment. Quote, dot. I know. What's going on? Are you saying Arashi, or the Yondaime, has a problem with that?" Quote, dot, question mark, quote. "I need to go," said Jiraiya as he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. What's going on? Naruto and Arashi were now sitting at the counter at the famous ramen stand. Ha ha ha, anyways they had both had a war to see who could eat the most. Naruto started to get full after 20. While Arashi had just finished bowl number 29. Naruto then fell over and lay on the ground padding his stomach. While Arashi just smiled. And left money on the counter and signaled Naruto to follow. The sky was alright, filled with stars. Naruto looked around to see people in their homes all happy. Celebrating the season with people. He looked down at his feet and gave a sigh. He hated being alone, at this time of year. Arashi noticed the blonde boy's behavior after they went behind the heads. And were walking towards the waterfall. "Naruto, I am sorry, you do know that." Naruto looked at him and gave a weak smile. "I know, it's just that this time of year, I used to hate it so much because everyone was at their happiest while I was alone. But then when I was in a team, I was so happy, but it still wasn't the same. No, I understand that completely. I was alone most of the time till I met Jiraiya. Well, I'm glad I am alone today. Why is that? Because I can be alone with you. On Christmas, we can be alone together. Instead of apart," smiled Naruto as they walked to the lawn. "Naruto, you're a good kid, you know that, you always think of others before yourself. I admire you," smiled Arashi as they walked into the house. Naruto was beaming the whole night. Sure, Arashi had complimented him before. But to be admired by a Hokage, even the best one, the greatest Leaf had ever had, was just an honor, but all he did was smile. They had stayed up and watched a few Christmas shows. Helped the Hokage try and find the decorations for the tree but ended up putting weapons on it instead. They had found the star, dot, and that's about it, and some lights. Arashi had guessed the third had taken them to put on the town tree. Arashi and Naruto each placed each other's gifts under the tree before going to bed. Arashi had gone off before the boy. He stayed down and looked at the tree. He liked this feeling. To have a tree not just to himself but to share it. He knew once his home was fixed after the holidays he would truly be sad to go back. And with that he turned off the lights, and went to bed. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.